Black Lives Matter and the global elites. So Black Lives Matter is obviously the idea of social justice is the most important change agent idea of this generation. I mean, it's so powerful because for one obvious reason, racial injustice is still prevalent and morally wrong and abhorrent. At the same time, this doesn't diminish from anything I just said, because both could be equally true, or both could be true, and you can decide which is the degree of each. The social justice movement is being co-opted, in my opinion, perhaps, by the global elites as a distraction from income inequality and the policies that contribute to the acceleration of that, including quantitative easing, stimulus programs which exacerbate income inequality, quantitative easing exacerbates income inequality, and a whole host of policies, economic and otherwise, that really, some people feel, exploit the average person. And I want to say something about television and media, movies. Movies and television have always been seeding grounds to, you could say influence, you could say brainwash. I mean, brainwash might be too strong a word. The collective. Because if you see it in enough movies and TV shows, wow, you start thinking this is the future, this is what's real. It's not only sci-fi, it's, it could be comedy, drama, it's just plants ideas in your head. I mean, the NBA, for example, and all major league sports, you can't, and I think that, social justice should have every form, it should be front and center, but the idea of social justice being promulgated by our celebrities, icons, sports superstars, the media, is, again, I think a distraction, a necessary distraction, because it's a problem that needs to be solved. But people are so focused on this meme that the global elites, I believe, perhaps, are using it as a substitute so people wouldn't even be equally or more or additionally outraged by the economic policies of economic injustice. I mean, I'm not saying social injustice is less important or more important than economic injustice. I mean, they're both critically important, and, it would probably be impossible to say, people die from social injustice, people die from economic injustice, because poverty does kill, like they say. I mean, if you make a person poor, they can't get good health care, stress, alcohol, substance abuse, suicides. So we should be looking, if you agree, at all the ways in which we're being impacted, exploited. I want to say a couple of things. One is, take LeBron James, for example. I have immense respect for him because he uses his platform for good, and I applaud him for that. But he is just one example, and all people have to make sure that they don't focus on one critically important issue to the exclusion of others that, maybe some people might want them to. So, social justice is critical, but it's not the only issue. If we use social justice as an excuse to not also address economic inequality and the policies, like I said, quantitative easing and stimulus programs and, so much more that contribute to that, then we're taking care of one important thing, but at the same time we're neglecting something else. And I want to say something about the media. The media has always been self-promoted as an independent I think they call it the third estate or the fourth estate. I think, yeah, the fourth estate because of the three branches of government. But the media has always been controlled by powerful interests. I mean, even if you look at who owns the media and how concentrated it is, maybe at the lower levels you can kind of a little bit more do what you want if there's a little bit less oversight. But anytime you start reaching millions and millions of people, that like the messages are going to be structured. I don't know to what degree. I would say probably somewhat considerable, but I'm not in the newsrooms myself, so I can't say that 100% for sure. But media is so powerful. Anything that's powerful is going to attract people that want to use that power towards their own ends. And the media, having convinced people that it's the watchdog or it's the independent, that's keeping everyone in check. Some people believe that it's kind of like the fox guarding the hen house, that, the global elites or anybody with the powerful agenda can use the media. Like a lot of things, like they say, like a lot of news, quote unquote, news is actually just press releases. People just feed because what happens is the news organizations are so depleted of resources, they don't really do investigative journalism like they used to do. They have to rely on press releases and they have to rely on experts. And the experts a lot of times are funded. Like even in healthcare, they show that a lot of the funding, co-ops or even corrupts. The findings. I don't know the extent of it, but obviously there's been focus on that as well. So, like you probably heard that thing, if it sounds too good to be true. I mean, you have to be a critical thinker. There's shaping public opinion is more effective than force, because if you have people want to do what you want them to do, then it's much easier. They say there's a famous science fiction book that says violence is the last bastion of the incompetent. Like if you just try to impose martial law or some kind of force, then people are going to resist because nobody likes to feel controlled. But if you plant ideas and seeds in people's minds so that they are either distracted or think the way that you want them to think, because they believe the media is the fourth estate, or they believe that, the media is the watchdog. I'm not saying the media could never be the watchdog. I mean, I'm sure they do hold some powerful people to account. But my guess is I don't think USA is like China. Like in China, the state, if they want to just get you out of the picture, they just get you out of the picture, one way or another, by trial or by whatever means they do. In America, we do have more due process, but it's also true, I think, to a certain degree, like they say, even in America, you get the justice that you can afford. Some people feel that the criminal justice system also is not fair to poor people. I mean, one evidence of that is being, the amount of minorities in jail, and we have the highest incarceration rate in the world, and even some experts, maybe many experts, I'm not an expert myself in this field, feel that the death penalty is racially biased. So you really have to be a critical thinker in this world, and not just. I'll give you one more example. Well, I think that's probably enough examples. So just think critically if you want, not because I tell you to do it, but only if it makes sense to you.